Happy Friday, everybody. I know. How good was that? Lynn, were you the one that asked us for a proper fade, I think a couple of weeks ago? Happy Friday. Welcome to the Now of Work community. Okay, so Lynn is our assistant music producer, I think. Bryce is our meetup counter. And Welrose, yep, is a good guesser. Does that sound like something? Jason doesn't know what an Arctic monkey is. We've already determined that. Chime in. All right. And Jason landed about a minute ago. Let's see how fast he can hustle off the plane. He always gets upgraded, so he'll be fast off the plane. And yes, I love it, JC. How should we prank Jason when he joins? Well, on every company meeting I've ever been a part of with Jason for what, 8 years now, if you're the last to the meeting, you have to sing for everybody. So I don't know. Maybe we make him sing. Leah is here. Say hi. There's a lot more of you on here that than are saying hello. So yes, meetup 298. We're oh my gosh, you guys. I just realized today is an anniversary. Okay, we'll make him sing. I love it. Hi, everybody. I get to record a podcast with Megan today. I'm so excited. Y'all in. Oh my gosh. Okay, so Meetup 300 is in 2 weeks. That's a big deal, right? Doing anything 300 times. That takes some dedication and consistency. So we're very excited for our 300th episode. But today, you guys keep me honest because I tend to quote things I hear on the radio when I drive my kids to school as if it's fact. I believe today is Friday the 13th. We do know that. I think we had a Friday the 13th last month too, didn't we? Yes, Megan. I believe this is the first Friday, March 13th since we've had since 2020. Like, keep me honest, correct me if I'm wrong. This is the first Friday, March 13th we've had, yes, since COVID. So this is the 60th. And by the way, Friday, March 13th, 2020 was the day we started this meetup. So this is officially all of our 6-year anniversary, I guess, since the World Health Organization declared a global pandemic, which also makes it, see the silver lining, which also makes it the 6-year anniversary of, of this meetup, and the 6-year anniversary of us all getting kicked out of the office. I want to know who went back. Who's happy? Who went back to the office? Normal work, pre-COVID routines, and you're happy that you did. I want to know who's happy they went back into the office. Yeah, Bryce did. I can see that. For some people, it's like a mental, uh, it's just a mental thing. You just feel better when you're present in that kind of environment. You're happy to be hybrid. Yep. Never left, can't work from home. Never left, Lynn. I want to know what industry was able to keep you in office the whole time. Just distanced and masked and stuff, I suppose. This week, 5 days mandated. Would be happy if it was not 5. Yeah. I think I will never forget when I brought my oldest daughter, Ainsley, when she was a few years ago. I brought her on a business trip. It happened to be the Work Human Conference in San Diego. It was like still kind of like COVID times. And I was moderating a panel. I've probably told you this story before. I was moderating a panel of CHROs, all different types of industries, but the whole topic was rethinking hybrid work models and making hybrid work work. This big fancy panel on stage, all of these executives, and Ainsley sitting in the front row, paying attention because I told her she had to, phone down, listening. And I asked her after, were you listening? And she said, yes. And I said, did you understand what we were talking about? And she's like, yeah, teenager. And I said, what did you think? And her answer, if I've told you this story before, you have to put it in the chat. Her answer was, I think you guys are making this a lot harder than it needs to be. Talk about out of the mouths of babes. I think you're all making this a lot harder than it needs to be. I know, smart gal. And she was kind of right. I mean, some things are easier said than done. And it does take reimagining and redesigning and so forth. But did we all make it harder than it needed to be? Probably a little bit. I love everybody. What a big group we have on here. I love everybody weighing in. Hello, hello, hello. Yes, we're buying time until Jason gets on, but let's go ahead. Yeah, Tilly. Oh, good question. Who's going to unleash next week? Let's get started with our favorite question we always ask each other in this community, and that's how are you? Green, yellow, red. So let's get started on that one. And is there anybody new here? We've got a couple of rituals we perform in this community just to say hello to each other and kind of reflect on the week. And the first one is the most important, and that is to remember that we're all humans and this is a community on purpose with intention. So we check in with each other this way. Lots and lots of green. I do have a sneaking suspicion that green probably tends to trend higher on a Friday because it's Friday. Um, Winding down an insane week. Oh my gosh. Green, green, green. Hello, Madon. I love it. Oh, and it's pre-St. Patrick. This would be the weekend for sure. St. Patrick's Day next week. So if you're going out and celebrating, this would be the weekend to do it. I was supposed to go to a bachelorette party. Can you believe I still get invited to bachelorette parties at my age? But a dear friend of mine is remarrying and planned a little St. Patty's Day celebration this weekend. But she just let me know that they pushed it out another weekend because we're supposed to get terrible weather in Minneapolis, like snow. Jason.
Hi,
Oh, good God, you saved everybody.
how are you?
Apparently, we are all very green, Jason, for pre-St. Patrick's Day.
All right, let's go. Let's get a
Okay,
pint. Let's get a pint.
let's get a pint.
Yeah,
Yes. Okay, Tilly. We have something, Jason. When you joined, we all decided, the collective we decided that
yeah.
we're gonna need to hear you sing.
Oh, cool. Okay, what am I singing?
Well, it sounds like if you know an Irish song, that might be appropriate.
I don't, but I was doing some research on the plane about the Arctic monkeys, which I don't. Do you know anything about these Arctic monkeys?
Yes.
Huh?
Yeah, that's why I
Well,
picked them.
well, yeah. I don't. What about them? Like,
What did your
what are
research turn up?
what are they?
Um, they are, I guess you could call them like indie rock and pretty successful. I wonder how many followers they have on Spotify. I bet they're like top 20 bands on
Uh,
Spotify.
Jess, I looked it up. So, have you got color in your cheeks? Do you ever get that fear that you can't shift the type that shifts around like summit in your teeth? Are they some aces up your sleeve? Have you no idea you're in that deep? I've dreamt about you nearly every night this week. How many secrets can you keep? Because there's this tune I found that makes me think of you somehow, and I play on repeat until I fall asleep, spilling drinks on myself.
Oh dear.
How'd
Oh
I do?
dear.
That's
You
the
did pretty
song.
good. I mean, they have 55 million followers on Spotify. So you're like in the 1% that has just heard Arctic Monkeys for the first time.
Lynn, love on the rocks. Ain't no big surprise. Just pour me a beer and I'll tell you some lies. How's
Oh,
that?
there you go. We got a song.
Yeah, I'm here.
No, we got a song from you. You
Yeah, I
sang.
know. What's
Yeah.
going on, Jeff?
Love
You're a little, you seem, closing time. You seem a little stressed.
Stressed. Jason, I had actual content to build today. That
OSM.
I know. It's been a long time since I built content
We
from
had 75 people
scratch.
here. What are we talking about?
I know. All right, so we've already acknowledged that this is the well, do you know, Jason, what today is? You usually like to stump the chump,
It's
the other
Friday
one.
the 13th,
It's Friday the 13th.
and I'm seeing Bob Pulver next week.
Yep. It is the first Friday, March 13th since 2020. So that's an anniversary. It's like a 6-year COVID anniversary, but it's also our 6-year anniversary of this.
Oh,
I know.
isn't that sweet?
I No.
What did you get me?
Um, I got you this watch that my mom sent home with me. It's like one of those sound watches that, what is
I
that?
got you some coffee. Amy's blend.
Amy's blend. That's good.
Yeah, it's
Probably,
all I could find in the airport right here while I was sitting here.
and they just think that you stole that.
It's described as bright and silky.
That's good. It's like your
Dude,
hair.
you're not in a good mood. You're not green. There's something wrong.
Oh my goodness. I've been dancing on this meetup until you got here, Jason, and I am a little bit busy today and I have a tiny bit of a headache, unfortunately. But it's
Yeah,
all
I can tell. Yeah, I can tell you're a beat off.
good. But
So,
everybody is wildly green in the chat, and we haven't gotten to one big thing yet, so we can kick.
let's go.
Let's go.
What's your one big thing? And I want to hear a bunch of one big things. My one big thing is I just landed in Minneapolis, Minnesota after a crazy week of travel between New York City, Philadelphia, Charleston, 3 canceled flights,
Oh
lots
my
of
God.
TSA issues. And I just landed in Minneapolis and I'm going to Dominican Republic tomorrow morning for spring break with 1,800 kids. Let's go.
And then you're literally coming from the Dominican to Unleash.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, you're riding an adrenaline rush.
Yeah. Has anyone ever been to the Hard Rock? The Hard Rock, last week's OSM, and made it my OBT for this week.
Ooh, I love that.
Had a meeting on my minds with my finance counterpart.
I
Oh,
literally read that as fiance Tilly.
see, she's a little bit off.
I am
Uh,
a little bit off. I promise I'm going to be awesome on the podcast.
oh, I'm so excited your daughter committed to University of Maryland. That is exciting.
Oh,
Jess,
yeah.
5 seconds. What is the mascot of the University of Maryland?
A cheetah.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's not often I get like a full-on laugh from you. Like
The University of Maryland. Cheetahs. Awesome. Let's go, cheetahs.
a terrapin? Is that actually right?
It is a terrapin. Yes, exactly.
Opposite of a cheetah.
Very good, Jess. Very good, Jessica. A
It's
cheetah.
an Arctic monkey. Thank you, Steve. I can't believe I didn't walk right into that.
Study abroad in Florence and are spending this weekend in Dublin. Now that sounds so amazing, Frank. Thank you for sharing that.
Oh,
Um,
I love it.
Audience attendee pride on my shoulder.
Oh,
Oh, I love that. I mean, I don't love that, Leo, but
that means
I
they were
mean,
tough.
it meant a lot. Jesse, what's your one big thing?
I'm gonna use the girls. I love telling stories about the girls. Bailey tried out for high school softball as an eighth grader. They have tryouts every day after school this week, and then they do their first cut. And if you're not cut this week, you have another week of tryouts next week. And then you find out if you made a team and which one. I know it's intense. We have like a huge softball program at our high school. So it's not a given. Like it is literally not a given. It's pretty competitive. And as an eighth grader, she's the only, so she almost chickened out. Her older sister is really good and gets all the accolades, plays up all the time. Coaches are always asking for Kenna. So Bailey is like, she has that shadow, right? And then she almost chickened out because she's the only eighth grader going for the high school team. And literally everybody rallied around Bailey and said, what's the worst thing that can happen? Just trying out is great practice. So she went for it and she tried out. And tonight she finds out if she made the first cut. And after she walks out of tryouts every single night at 7 p.m., she has every high school girl standing around her telling her how amazing she's doing. She could not have a better community. She like walks out sweating, hair is like wet with sweat, and her cheeks are all flushed, and she has the biggest smile on her face. So honestly, who cares what happens tonight? Who cares what happens next week? She's having the most amazing experience, just freaking going for it.
Oh, I love that.
I
Thank you
know,
for sharing. That's
but I
not,
kind of
I
hope she
mean,
makes it.
you kind of hope she makes it. Yeah. And you're right.
For
Well,
her, yeah.
yeah, for sure. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Um, this is gonna sound strange, but this weekend we're having a tell us how he lived, not how he died, as a toast wake for a
Oh,
close friend. I really like that.
oh,
Um, Thank you, Bryce, for sharing that. You know, Jess, I had a one big thing, and it's a little bit. We need to. We have a lot to talk about today, but
yeah.
I want like really, really quickly. I flew to Philadelphia. No, no,
You trained to
no.
catch
I flew to New
Philadelphia.
York.
Okay, yes.
I flew to New York, and I had the opportunity to sit next to a woman from Edmonton, Alberta. Um, and did I tell the story already?
Mm-mm. Not to
Uh,
me.
any anyway, I had she was rushing from Edmonton, Alberta to get to New York to see her father who had a heart attack
Mm.
and was in a hospital. And uh, unfortunately, in mid-flight, her father died.
And oh my
So
gosh,
she
she
didn't
found
get to
out.
see him before he died.
Oh my gosh.
Um, so I had about an hour and 15 minutes of consoling and learning about a man that I have that I don't know her name, I don't know the man's name, but I heard stories about this gentleman that made me cry with her, that made me realize that never leave anything on the table, never have any regrets, and realize that every breath is cherished.
Mm.
And it was amazing. It was an amazing, weird out of body experience.
Wow.
And that was my one big thing that it honestly carried me all week. And it even carries me right here to this because I'm like, there's nothing I'd rather be doing right now than this. And, even though I just got off a freaking airplane, that weirdly it's crazy windy here in Minneapolis today.
It's
So it was like one of the weirdest landings I had ever met or ever had. Um, it's great to be here. So I'm just blessed to
oh,
be here. So
oh.
that was my one big thing. And my second one big thing is I just asked Lance Hahn if he had a big thing, which is which is very awkward. I totally get it. But I was reading something about Lance this week, and
Hmm.
he does have a big thing. He might have already shared his big thing yet. And Lance, I didn't mean to embarrass myself or you when I asked if we had a big thing. Uh,
You can
but
always count on Jason to
to
drop
say
into
something
something.
stupid. Yeah, exactly. But anyway, that's the first time I've ever embarrassed myself that badly in the chat here, I think. So
No, there's been others. I'm,
yeah,
te-
name one. Name one.
I'm
You
teasing.
can't. People say that, but you can't name one, can you?
I'm teasing. I feel like
Okay,
I
we have.
might lose my voice, Jason. There's something weird happening. I'm jinxed. I'm jinxed.
There's something weird going on with you. You know those vibes and aura. Um, it's something's weird today.
Do I have a weird halo over me? Like a,
Yeah, I'm not sure what it is. It's Friday the 13th. I think you should go to bed. So what are we talking about?
I think we can do a little bit of a preview to next week. For a lot of us, sort of the spring event season is kicking off. I know a bunch of you are probably at I Am Phenom this week. I saw the head count, the number of people that were all gathered in Philadelphia for I Am Phenom. I think that might be even bigger than, my goodness. Some of these vendor conferences, Jason, are just massive. So what a gathering
Yeah,
of talent
I
people.
don't I don't think they're vendor conferences. I think that's what's
I think
interesting.
you're
I
right,
think
actually.
I don't I think that vendor conferences are not vendor conferences. I think that the vendors are sponsoring events and
Yeah.
they're treating them and curating them more like experiences than they are conferences. I think
Yeah,
that's what you're seeing if I
I
had
think
a
you nailed
to
it.
guess.
Yeah, I just saw such amazing updates. And Alicia, thanks for confirming. I saw amazing updates coming out of all the talent people, mostly talent people that were there. Um, and congrats to Phenom. They are really pushing the envelope in that space. And so I have
Jess,
no doubt
not everyone here knows what you're talking about. Like what is a phenom?
I
Like
am
we just assume that everyone knows what phenom is.
right. Well, they've been around for a long time. Okay, do you remember the
Who
name
is
of this?
they? What
I'm about to tell the story.
Okay.
I'm going to send a Starbucks coffee card to anybody who can tell me what they were called before the name of that solution provider was called Phenom. Does anybody remember what their first name was? This is how far back I go in this space. I bet Jason doesn't even know. Ooh, Frank has it.
Oh, there goes
All right, Frank,
there goes the hundred
a
dollar
hundred
Starbucks.
dollars.
There goes the $100 Starbucks card right to Frank. Yes.
Yes, they are a technology provider. They happen to make talent technology, and they've really grown up. And like I literally remember I visited their first office in Philadelphia when it was cardboard boxes and ping pong tables and 10 people crammed in a room around a dusty table. I'm really proud of them. They're one of the solution providers I know pretty well. And so I love seeing how big their experience has grown and how forward they are in their innovation and thought leadership. And then, of course, a bunch of us will be at Unleash next week. Should we preview some of that?
Yeah, Jess. So I'm so excited to come from Dominican and the 1800 18-year-olds staying at the Hard Rock all-inclusive
Oh,
property
good.
to Las Vegas. I don't think I'll really feel that much different, to be honest with you. Um, I think they're very similar in feel. But I wonder if anyone's here is coming to our AI summit. So Jess and myself, sponsored by, I guess, yeah, sponsored, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, powered, sponsored,
Yeah.
muscled by UKG, are doing an AI summit on Tuesday
Hmm.
of next week. And we have some really cool stuff. Really, really, really cool stuff. And we're actually going to preview one of the cool things to you guys
Hmm.
right now,
Yeah.
um, which I'm really excited about. Um, but is anyone coming to the session? Just because, well, it's not going to ruin it. I mean, this is just going to be a really quick little piece of it. But is anyone coming to our session next week? Yeah, I know that there's some people that tried to get in, and I realize it's sold out, and I realize it's just for um, practitioners and not vendors. So if you did get in, excuse me, and you're a vendor, I'm glad to hear. But I know that they were very tough on it because of the list. But we're gonna do one of the things right now. So you guys know that I'm very, very high. Oh, I could just stop right there. No, that's not true. I'm very, very high on voice.
Hmm.
And I really think that where artificial intelligence or where the future of interaction comes through in big, big ways is voice. So one of the things that we're doing next week, and well, actually, we're doing right now as I'm about to do it, is to introduce you to a capability that I think is going to change the world. Now, the capability that we're demonstrating happens to be from a vendor called Eris. Okay, and we've had Michael Yofi on the show before. Some of you might know Michael and things like that. But if you actually see the link that I just put in the chat there, now the thing about voice that's going to be fascinating for all of us in the world is that we can't just do voice while we're in the middle of an airport. Why? Because it picks up other voices. We can't do voice while we're on a meetup like this. Why? Because people are going to talk and get in the way of the conversation. So, what I'm asking you guys to do is click on that link, and we'll make sure it's in the show notes. And when you get a chance, have a 5 minute conversation about what is called AI readiness. Okay. And when you do this, when you click on that link, what you're going to see is you're going to actually see the opportunity. And I'll show it on the screen right now so that you can see it for you. Choose whether you want to do this interview with a computer, excuse me, with your computer, if you want to actually go in and schedule a time to do it, or you can actually just call this number. Does that make sense? You can just call that number. And of course, being Minneapolis, we had to choose a Minneapolis number. 651-371-4766. And by doing that, what that's going to do is it's going to trigger your interview, and you will have an interesting 5-minute conversation. Okay, now why I think this is so amazing is if you think about needs analysis for any part of your life, okay, it could be needs analysis on what we sell at an airport. It could be needs analysis on what my department needs. It, Steve, click on the link and then you'll get to the number. It could be needs analysis on, hey, you're rolling something out to a community and you want to get their feedback. And you don't want them to do a dumb form or a
Mm-hmm.
dumb survey, but you want them to have a conversation and immediately capture the input of 5,000 people or 1,000 people or 2,000 people. By the way, there's consultants that sell this for a lot
Uh-huh.
of money. Like, hey, we'll do a needs analysis for you for 2,000 people to understand your personas. Or we'll do a needs analysis for you for 1,000 people to understand where you view employee engagement today. This is a way to do this in a scalable way and have the results like instantaneously.
Mm-hmm.
So think of Mentimeter like we had last week, but with voice in a real conversation mode. That I dare you to take this conversation off track. It's going to
Mm-hmm.
bring you back on track to the point of being able to understand needs in a really, really quick way.
I have ex experienced a lot of tools like this. I will say when I tried this one this morning, it's the best voice I've ever heard in terms of sounding and feeling natural, like a true listener. Uh, I of course was sort of in test mode, not really in data mode, serious interview mode. So I interrupted it. I spoke low. I changed my mind. I gave it a bad answer. I gave it a good. I was just kind of messing around. It was like, holy cow, this stuff is getting good.
Yeah, so we're gonna do this. So you guys, as part of this exercise, we're gonna do this, Jess and I, with all 300 people in our session next week, and we'll take all of your input, we'll take all of their input, combine it together, and next week share with you a link where you'll be able to see the full report and be
Hmm.
able to drill into it based on groups, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, as we think about it. Now, this is a tool that Medtronic uses to help understand where their salespeople are in their readiness to sell pacemakers. This is a tool that Eli Lilly uses in their readiness to be able to make sure that clinicians understand the dangers of GLP-1 medicines. Okay. And what this does is it doesn't just say, hey, you're going to get a training class or you're going to get some education. Based on how people answer, we can then push direct information to them based on where their weaknesses are. So
Hmm.
imagine instead of going to a 1 hour class on governance, doing a quick 5-minute conversation and saying, oh, hey, the area that Jess is really bad when it comes to governance is here. Oh, by the way, Jess, I have to tell you something in a second. I forgot.
Hmm.
But the area that Jess is not good at is governance in one area, and just give her 5-minute drip
Yeah.
through Teams, chat, or whatever I wanted to, and be done. This this way of understanding and listening to people is going to change our world in a big, big way.
Hmm. I remember the first time I tested Arist, their tech a couple of years ago. Oh my gosh, I can't imagine how it's leapfrogged since then. I pretended I was going to a soccer game. That part was pretend. This part is real. I know nothing about soccer. Tell me what I'm even looking at. And it told me like how many players and what positions they play on the field and what this means. It was a fun way to test it. But I mean, think about the bazillions of use cases for something that is very in the moment and super easy to use, has a lot of accessibility built in, not just for learning and development, but engagement and adoption and
And you guys, this is not a commercial for Arist.
right.
Okay. I mean, this is something that you could white label and have it, which I would recommend, and say, because we never want anyone to go to Arist
Right.
in our lives. Like we want to push an a listening capability to
Yeah.
the organization, an understanding capability to the organization. So think about that, and then think about all of the different use cases where it would be helpful to understand. Think about all those surveys you get from Delta, where on the way home, maybe I'd like to have a conversation with someone, instead of filling out those numbers or things like that. And then
Mm.
it takes the data and then analyzes it for me. So lots of different use cases. That's just one of the things we're going to be talking about next week. Jess, I just saw your tattoo and
Yeah, which one?
on your hand.
Okay.
And in case you didn't know, today Chipotle is giving you a free meal if you have a tattoo.
Are you serious?
Yes. So that was the one thing I wanted to tell you when you put your arm up like that. Is I just happened to earlier today see on X. Oh, sorry. See, Richard knows about it. Oh,
Ah!
it's see, I got the information wrong. Uh, I think you could do a fake tat also.
Yeah.
But Jess, if you're into Chipotle, it's a good day for it.
I like to hack there. I always do like, I always tell the girls what we're having for dinner. Tonight we're having crisp and green at home, and I just mimic crisp and green. Tonight I'll mimic Chipotle. How about that?
Yeah, exactly.
I love
So Jess, you want to talk more about the next week and the AI summit? Sorry, I went a little long, but I hope you guys like this. And I'm curious. I would love to hear some feedback um, about it. And next week, when you see the results, you'll be able to see the power of it.
Yeah. So I always love doing this workshop. Sort of the pre-conference day at Unleash is for summits, which are sort of longer sessions, learning sessions. They're able to be more immersive and sort of lab style workshop type content because you've got more time and you can kind of, and this is a big room. This is still a big room to facilitate, Jason. So this is going to be quite the workshop. But we are treating it very much as not just educational, but hands-on experimentation. And as I'm finishing up our content, I can tell you this really, really is grounded in the concept of recognition, recognizing where we've been, where we are, but also recognizing what needs to change. If we're going to see any value whatsoever in this moment we're in, we not only need to understand the moment, but we have to recognize what is changing. We have no choice, but what needs to change if we're actually going to get the right impact and value and minimize risk and harm and mistakes and that kind of thing. So that's where we're grounding everybody to get started, but it's very much hands-on and immersive. I've had a number of solution providers, technology providers reach out. Can I come in too? And I would love us to do a a tech,
Yeah, we should.
yeah, because we've always believed that these topics are best served when you provide the same information to everybody, to every audience, because
Yeah.
value does not depend on the tech. It does not depend on AI being fully, as functional and capable as it is. It relies on you having capability and capacity and design principles and governance to management. Like, as soon as we can get over that hump of understanding this has little to do with the tech. It has a lot to do with little to do with the tech. It has everything to do with what you decide to do with it.
Jess, what about the Impact X part of the workshop where we're going to ask the audience to, what is the problem?
Mm.
Like, what is one problem that you have? And hey, that was good to see you. Just some stranger that's happy in the airport. What's one problem that you have at work, personal, et cetera, et cetera? And then being able to solve it in real time with the audience.
Yeah.
Like, how would you solve this? How would we leverage our ability to focus on human and machine combination to say, what's the best way to solve this? Like, I'm thinking about redesigning something. I'm thinking about throwing away something that hasn't worked for a long time in my company. I want to measure something new. So I'm so excited because it's it's almost a little like a magic show where it's like
Yeah.
it's totally or a comedy, like it's totally unscripted. Um, and I can't wait to see the ideas and the things that we build together with 300 people. It's
I know.
the blank canvas concept. I'm so excited for.
I would love to know the last thing that you can recall for those of you in the community. What's the last thing you did at work that you had sort of a moment like, I can't believe we still do it this way? Jason, have you had any moments like that? HR processes, people processes. Like we talk a big game because we're all pretty awake and aware of what tech can do and how things should be better designed and wouldn't it be great if, and can you imagine if, like we're good at talking the talk, walking the walk is much different. And every single day, all of us sit down, assuming we all work on computers a little bit or a lot. Yeah. Yes. Report writers in payroll. That guy really loves to be in our meetup back there.
Yeah, you guys, you know that I want to I want us to talk about this because we're going to talk about this next week in at Unleash Live. But I had one of those stupid moments earlier today, Jess, in ServiceNow. And
Really?
forget
Yeah,
ServiceNow
forget
for
the
a
tech.
second. It has
Yeah.
nothing to do with the tech. It's just the process that I went through and the process I was going through and how much easier it could be done
Mm,
in different ways. It made me think about it made me think about exactly what you said. I did an exercise with the class last night in Charleston that was called "What If."
mm,
Just what if we didn't do this? What if we didn't have to do this? What if it didn't go this way? What if
yeah.
what if is a really great exercise. Hey,
Yeah.
Jess,
Yeah.
speaking of ServiceNow, or do you want to talk any more about the summit? Because
No,
well,
that's
actually,
fine.
this is gonna relate. Did anyone see this headline? I think this headline is going to do some things to people that is going to be a big wake up call.
Oh,
Okay,
what's the date of this one?
this was an hour ago.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so I happened to be
The
on a
reason I was
plane.
looking at the date is 2 days ago, I said expect 25%. And now we have a new headline saying 30.
Yeah, I think you guys and once again, I this is not me not being a tech bro or things like that. This is me wanting to be the opposite of that
Yeah.
and saying to ourselves, we have a group of people, college graduates, who are right now going through school and are in these situations. And what are we going to do? I want us all as a community to start to think about what are we going to do, because this is a disaster that's right in front of us, and it's going to be a big disaster if we don't actually do some work design, make some governance changes, make some governance changes when it comes to this issue. Because as much as everyone says it's not real, and I don't believe AI is going to replace people, and blah 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 blah, this is not going away, you guys.
Hmm. You
Sorry,
know,
Jess.
I've spent a lot of time in the last month or so with our Marsh business, which is our risk business. So in rooms with a bunch of head of risk, sort of people. And it's surprising to me, and this is no diss to our own colleagues or to anybody as a risk professional, but it was a little shocking to me how little risk professionals think about human risk, human capacity, human skill gaps, human ability to exercise judgment and govern decisions. They're trained to think about property and liability and cybersecurity and all kinds of other risks. But this human risk conversation uh, is sort of new territory. And I think it's because the AI conversation is forcing us into that new territory. And pipeline risk. I had this conversation about pipeline risk. All of these short-term wins from a profitability standpoint and driving efficiency and org structures and that kind of thing, advancing tech, all of the short-term wins do have some long-term consequences like pipeline erosion. And and the fact that we have a bunch of 20 somethings who have had no training ground to practice any apprenticeship skills, to even learn how they might manage AI one day or people one day. Like there's some long-term impact that comes with this that nobody's really having a lot of conversation about.
And you guys, I just want to share the reason, and Jess knows this. The reason that I'm doing the work I'm doing in Charleston is because I'm trying to understand enough of what has to happen to change this. So literally, I spent until about 10:15 last night with a student that Jess knows, Francis, who has a job interview today. She
Dear
said,
God.
"Will you please help me after class and show me how I can interview for a job and tell them, here's how I would do this job with AI, with me coming in and doing this job with AI. And even if they don't have AI, how I would think about it differently to put me at the front of the line because she said she was one of 47 candidates for this one job."
Wow.
So, Cindy, I see your comment. As a parent of a college sophomore, the headlines aren't thrilling, but companies aren't going to change this fast enough to deal with your kid, Cindy. Sorry to direct it to you this way. But companies aren't going to change this fast enough, which means your kid has to change it faster. Okay. And while it may seem odd to say that, your I didn't say whether it's a boy or girl, your child has the power, but it's a different approach. It's a different approach than what we've been doing. Okay. It's going to take people to mentor them, to help them through that process and to say, here's how I would approach the interview and embed new ways of working and new ways of thinking into it. Because guess what? Companies are starving. They're starving. They're starving for your kid to
Mm-hmm.
approach them that way and say that they can help with that. So, and I get the fact that it's not going to be every company. And if it's not, by the way, if that company doesn't want them because they came to the interview that way, your kid doesn't want to work at that company because that company is not going to be around.
Mm-hmm.
So I I just think that this is such a pivotal time for this group of people that have decided to go to college. And I don't know what happens with college. I don't know what happens with college. As you know, I have kids in this, but and I love that Steve just said of spending time with 15-year-olds this summer. Like this, we we our generation is responsible for this. And if we don't take the initiative, this is why I still think this is the number one election and the number one issue in the 2028 election. Okay. I've been saying that for about 6 months now. I know there's lots of shit going on in the world, so it doesn't seem like it is. But at the end of when all of this clears, this is still around.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not going away, and it's not going to go away by itself. We're going to have to change us to adapt to this new world. Sorry, that was a soapbox, Jess.
No, I love it. And every time I think we do a good job in this community of calling this out. I don't know how widespread this conversation is yet. I don't like what's the like who's the headline is the headline, almost like as a like a like it shows progress somehow. Like look at how fast the tech is going. Look at this progress. Like I don't even know the point of the headline. Who is having their OSM around this? Is it are companies freaking
Well,
out?
we're trying to wake up. I mean, that's what we're trying to do right here. We're trying to wake up companies and people like us who are responsible for building the future to say, guys, we have to take these people and bring them in, or we're going to miss a gap. We're going to miss a whole group of people that aren't. The future is going to be a whole different thing. We have to make Kim. I'm happy to help you if you ever want. Make
Mm-hmm.
the case, and I wouldn't call them a techie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sorry to call you out like that. Yeah, I would call them a beginner's mindset person, a
Mm-hmm.
digital native that thinks about this stuff differently. When we call them a techie, guess what happens? It all of a sudden turns into an IT thing. This is not that. This is a different mindset, a different way to approaching creative design and creating problem solving. And I just want to address Randy's point. Randy said, Jason, what are companies doing about allowing employees to utilize tools or
Mm.
only allowing one of the ones, but not the desired tool? How does that factor into things? Brandy, it factors into things in a massive way. One of
Hmm.
the things that's going to drive whether or not people will stay at a company. Are you going to let yourself, with the number of breaths you have left in your life, are you going to let yourself sink because your company is blocking you from using tools to do your best work? Done. Are you going to? If the answer is yes, then guess what? Go ahead. If the answer is no, then you're going to make a change. That's what's going to determine who is an employer of choice in 2026 and
Yeah.
2027. Guaranteed.
I do, that's come up a fair bit recently too. I do think that this will start to become a bigger part of a company's value proposition. In the recruiting world, we call it the EVP, employee value proposition. It's how it's the culture and brand that you put forward to attract the best talent. And if you go to any organization's career website, and I used to do this a lot as a talent acquisition professional, it was always some version of do your best work here. That actually means quite a lot these days because, to the point of that question, how do I know that I'll have the ability, the tools, the resources, the time, the culture, the environment with appropriate guardrails to actually do my best work here? That became a much bigger question than it used to.
It did, and I love what Svetlana said in the chat. Svetlana, I love this is what's so interesting to me as someone who's a parent trying to help their kid make a decision on where they're going to school next year and what they're going to study. The the Gen Z mentee graduated a computer science degree last week. She started her own coffee cart company. She's super happy.
Mm-hmm.
Like Svetlana, I'm going to kind of challenge you a bit in an interesting way. It doesn't matter whether you're starting a coffee cart company, whether you're starting a coffee supply company, whether you're starting a phone case company, or whether you're just starting a company that's a matchmaking company and you're trying to help one person have a new partner for the rest of their life and someone else and makes them happy. The point is what we want to do is we want to think about these tools not as the tool. We want to think about the things that make us happy, Svetlana, like talking to people, like delivering coffee, or excuse me, serving coffee. But guess what? They're still going to have to understand how AI works, whether it be to create their logo, whether it be to create a really cool mobile app so people can order and they have more time to talk to them when they get there to get the coffee instead of taking their order. I mean, does that make sense? Like
Yes.
it's not as much about it's not about the concept of computer science and AIs. It's about this, it's still about finding your why, about finding why you love what you do so much, what you believe in, and then saying, okay, guess what? How am I going to use today's tools that are available to me to do that? But and really quickly, Svetlana, I didn't mean to pick on you, but I love that. First of all, I love the fact she's happy, and second
Mm-hmm.
of all, all of us. I mean, but still, when I go speak, which I did 5 sessions this week at 5 different places, the number of people that said we haven't used AI yet. I'm like, you guys, you use AI every single day. Like when
Yeah.
you put your thumbs up, and all of a sudden Zoom does that weird shit, like it just
Right.
did. Or, when Amazon says people that bought this also bought this. It's all AI, guys. Like
Mm-hmm.
we don't go, oh, I'm using a special AI tool. You know what I mean? Like it, we have to get beyond the fascination of AI and into the I don't know what, I'm not going to call it fascination, but into the thinking that this is how we're going to live. And by the way, there are, just like anything, there's things that could go wrong, but there's a lot of stuff that can go right.
Yeah. I'm going to have to think about how to articulate this better, but I still have such a bone to pick around the idea of using AI and driving adoption of AI, a tool that you have to have like some special knowledge and access to be able to leverage. More people are going to benefit from AI than know how to use it as an expert user with a paid license to a certain system. I and maybe I have to wrap my head around that more but it always irks me when people talk about sort of the adoption gaps. Like, yes, the adoption gaps are real and need to be overcome and addressed and all of that, but everybody can still have positive impact and gain value by AI existing in well-designed workflows that are working for you. Not everybody will have to be an expert user of tool design and prompting to say, wow, I'm so much better at my job now because it's so well embedded in my workflow. Now I can learn on that tool. I don't need to know the name of that tool we just used. Look at how
Oh,
well I learn now. And I don't have, like, everybody doesn't need to be expert level AI users of a tool to benefit from it.
so
Do you know what
Jess,
I mean?
this is why I hate when people talk about people as users.
Yes,
Like, we're not going to be expert users of tools. We're going to be beautiful humans that do the things we love to do.
right,
And we're going to keep doing that. The tools have gotten in our way up until now. The tools are going to fade into invisibility so that invisibility, is that a word, Jess?
yes,
We'll make it up. If it isn't, the tools are going to fade into invisibility. So it gives us the opportunity to do these things that we want
yes,
to do instead of being hindered by processes, 19 sign ins, 14 things I have to learn, waiting for approvals from 17 people that I can't get because they're not signed in. Think about the inefficiencies of life
yeah,
because we've built the way that we work around a system instead of allowing a system to build itself around the way that we want to be.
right. Yeah, perfectly said. That also, I'm like checking the time, like, how much time do I have to go down this rabbit hole? The more that continues to be true, the more risk we need to understand. When we keep hiding the wires and the tech becomes so invisible, embedded, frictionless, we can't tell where it stops and starts. We don't know what was supported by a human input or strategy or design principle and what was sort of, got there. This is, oh my gosh, again, data and design and good deployment so that we can earn our way into that sort of world where it just it meets us where we are, it's embedded and intuitive, there's no friction. I don't need to navigate a system or a menu or a field or anything like that. But again, that puts more and more pressure on people who do understand data design and how to deploy it well. I think
I mean,
courses are galloping so far away from us. I keep thinking, oh, it's probably why I say governance more than anything else these days.
yeah, I just think there's so much opportunity in that whole space of data and design. Just another thing that we're going to be showing next week, and we'll just show it to you. I mean, there's 57 people, and I know it's late in the show, but really quickly, is this data readiness tool.
Hmm.
So when you look at this data readiness tool, let's just say that I think we're kind of a work in progress. What this tool does is it pulls in all of your HR data, your learning data, every system you have, and says, what's your data completeness? Is it integrated? What's your consistency? And not just your structured data, your unstructured data, which is so important. So,
Hmm.
policy recency. Do you realize that the last time you updated your time off policy was over a year ago? Do you realize the last time you updated or touched the annual review process was over 2 years ago? Do you realize that, guess what? AI is missing, and what's going to cause problems when you start to use a chatbot is you've got version control. You have four policies all called the same thing. That's the kind of stuff, guys, where we have to do this work. And Jess, unfortunately, has seen me for years get people to chant data is sexy. And people are, why are you saying data is sexy? Because we've been trying to get people to be ready for this moment. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, people have been thinking of these things as transactions, not as data to drive the way that we operate. And I think that's such an amazing opportunity going forward. And this machine to be able to clean your data so that it can be used by AI, it's the foundation of making all this work.
Yeah, for sure. And it is the reason when I play my little game in any room, how many of you use, like, trust, it's literally all, some, none. Like, we have to get to a point of building greater trust in what we're using and the outcomes it's producing on our behalf by trusting that there are good inputs and it's working as designed and it's working to serve everybody and have positive impact. That trust issue really comes down to the data problem. And
Okay, so we're almost out of time, but Jess, I can't wait to see you in Las Vegas after Dominican
fun.
Republic. And the only other thing I'm going to say to people is if anyone's traveling for the next 2 weeks, the airports are insane. It is 2 weeks of spring break
Yes.
combined with some TSA issues
Corruption.
going
Yeah.
on. If anyone hasn't seen the video yet, the line at the airport in Austin, Texas this morning, where my son lives, was 5 hours
Oh my gosh.
to get through security. Part of that was because of South by Southwest. Part of it is the University of Texas spring break. But if you're traveling, have patience
Hmm.
with people because it's going to give. I missed my flight in Atlanta this morning by 2 minutes because the gate agent closed the door. My first response was not going to be nice. I'm like, you know what? I'll have patience. I'll just be a little late for the meetup.
Oh my gosh. They cannot accept gift cards. Steve's tried.
Get to the airport early. So
All
thank
right.
you guys so much. It was great to see you. I hope I get to chance to hug, fist bump, whatever next week in Vegas with a lot of you guys. I hope none of you are going to Dominican Republic. And I hope I see none of you at the pool with me there, and all these 18-year-olds. Um,
Oh my
and
gosh.
I really, really appreciate you guys joining.
Take
Jess,
care,
any
everybody.
closing words? Oh, that's it. Take care, everybody.
Well, have a great St. Patty's Day weekend for those of you who are
Go listen to some
American.
Arctic Monkeys.
Yes. You should listen. You'd like them.
I'm going to get in my car right now.
All
Take a
right.
listen. Okay. Take care,
See you,
everyone.
everybody.
Love y'all. Bye.
Bye.